Well, hello, friends. Welcome to ReCollection. I am your host, Jared Petty, and this is our first journey through one of my all-time favorite video games, Zelda II: The Adventure of Link. Right here. Look for the falling star. Look for the falling star. There it is. Oh my gosh! I remember the very first time I booted up this cartridge and saw that. I was like, oh my gosh, this is something special. Look at the epicness of what's happening here. Big letters rising out of the background, and this truly splendid musical theme that breaks off into kind of a cool little like descent here, like doon 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 ding, higher, but then it gets like doon 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 doon. This is really cool theme. Anyway, Zelda II: The Adventure of Link. So, unlike most episodes of ReCollection, I'm not playing on a cartridge right now. I am playing with the NES Classic Mini. It's a wonderful little thing. It makes HDMI streaming very easy, and it's a good way to play this game. It also contains save states, which might be important depending on how we try to cover this. Zelda 2, as I just said to you, one of my all-time favorite games. And this playthrough is just the first in a multi-part journey through this epically difficult video game. People like to talk about games being hard from the 8-bit era, and there are some standouts like Legacy of the Wizard, Ninja Gaiden, Mighty Bomb Jack, a few others that are just practically impossible. Zelda 2 is hard, but it's hard mostly in really good ways. We're going to talk about that as we get into the game. I love Zelda 2. It is, while far from the greatest Zelda at a critical level, it is in fact my favorite. So we're gonna start a new game here. Let's register our name. What do we want to call ourselves, guys? All right, in the chat, what's our name? First person to answer is the name we're gonna get. What's our name? Let me know in the chat here. And somebody pick the name. What are we gonna be? Bounce around in here and wait for a second. Come on, chat. Name the character. This is important. Who's first? Who's first? Jared is okay. Okay, we're going with Jared. All right, we're going to be Jared. Thank you. Jared. I don't think it'll take... I would say Jared... I wonder if I can do is okay. No, I can just do Jared is. Well, we're Jared is. Okay. So here we go. Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. One of the most misunderstood, wonderful, and frankly challenging video games of its era. So here at the beginning, whoa, Zelda side-scroller? What? That's right, Zelda 2 is a hybrid side-scroller / top-down game, which right away makes it extremely unique in the canon. So what's going on? Right there, we are playing the only direct sequel to a mainline Zelda game in the mainline series. Zelda 2 is a direct sequel to the original Legend of Zelda. And up here we have Princess Zelda, who is in a cursed sleep. Ganon is defeated. Ganon is dead, but the followers of Ganon know that if they can harvest the blood of Link, they can resurrect Ganon. And so all Ganon's followers in Hyrule are out to kill me. I, as Link, must journey to 6 sacred palaces where, guess what, I'm going to get 6 magic stones that'll open the way to a great palace that'll allow me to release Zelda from her sleep, all the while trying to avoid being killed by Ganon's minions. Now, I'm running around this little palace room a lot. It's going to get more exciting in a second, but there's a lot I want to show you before we head out on the trail. This is going to be a combination of like Jared Randy's storytelling with a lot of meticulous technical details. So let's talk about why I love this game so much. The comparisons to Dark Souls that you hear in Zelda are appropriate, not particularly about the difficulty, but about the way that the difficulty works. Link in the Legend of Zelda is a top-down character who just sort of runs around and stabs things. There's a strategy to the game, but it's not very agile. But the controls in Zelda 2 are superb. And Link has 7 basic moves. He can defend high, like you see me doing there, standing with my shield high, which will stop any attack from above but not protect his legs. He can defend low. Now I'm blocking and ducking. I'm vulnerable at my face, but I can block any lower attack. I can strike high, like that. You notice I get the little short-range blast out of my sword. That only happens when I have full health. I can strike low. I can do a jump strike, like this. Those are 5 of the 7 moves. The 6th and 7th are a special upward and downward slash, which I actually have to learn from villagers later in the game. Additionally, you'll notice that I have this little menu. This is where my magic spells and passive items will go. Unlike the original Legend of Zelda, I don't really have active items outside of keys. Instead, all my items grant passive abilities. Zelda 1 had both passive and active items. This one only passive. Instead, I have 8 magic spells. Well, how do I use them? Look at the top of the screen right now. You're going to see 3 kind of little numbers. The top left number is my attack power. That's how much damage my sword does. My sword's used against about 95% of enemies in the game. Only a few will I fight with magic. My magic ability, which allowed me to activate one of 8 spells that I'll eventually learn by journeying across the world, is indicated by that number next to magic. That shows effectively my magic level. That doesn't make the spells more powerful. What it does is it reduces the cost of a spell in magic points. Below that is a bar that's my magic meter. That has 4 white boxes. Eventually that'll extend all the way up to 8 as I find new magic containers. And likewise up there on life. The life level of 1 indicates that I take more damage from attacks. Life is effectively like armor. On top of that, I also have 4 life boxes. And again, those 4 boxes eventually extended by heart containers up to 8. Finally, in the top right corner, you see that little next meter. Those are my level up. So that's right, this is like an RPG. Link levels up, he gets experience for killing opponents, and then he levels up. And I think that's enough, like, talk right there. So, and you're right, Majoria is kind of a direct sequel to Ocarina, but not really. Okay. So we're going to move on for this and actually go play. All right. And there's the top down. Now, this is no combat, no action's going to happen here. This is way less pretty than the original Legend of Zelda. It's a much larger kind of utilitarian world map, zoomed way out. And as long as I stick to the roads, you'll notice I'm completely safe. But the moment I step off the roads, you're going to see that something's going to happen. On-screen enemies are going to appear, and it's going to be like an RPG without random encounters. I'm actually going to see there's an enemy. You see the 2 different icons. The guys that have arms and legs, those are strong enemies. The guys that look like little blobs, those are weak enemies. If they catch me, I'll be, well, how about I just demonstrate it instead of talking about it? I'll be thrown into a side-scrolling combat section where I have to fight my way out by exiting either the left or the right portion of a scrolling area. Now notice when I shot those little blobby guys, I got experience points up there. You can see I'm getting 2 for every one. A little bar pops up there, and these are just about the weakest enemies imaginable. So I get 8 experience, 2 each for killing those 4 guys. When I get up to 50, I'm going to be able to level up either, and I'll have the choice to pick. Different kinds of terrain feature different kinds of enemies, and strong versus weak also affect the type that appear. Additionally, where you are in the world map affects it. So the farther I go from home, the farther I go from the palace where I start the game, right over here. So the game begins over here at the palace where Princess Zelda is. Go ahead and say hi again. Pop in. Hey, look, we're over here on the edge again. Farther I get from there, the more tougher the enemies get. So this is a game I know pretty well. I've beaten it many times, and so I kind of know the route I'm supposed to take. But I'm going to take y'all on kind of a grand tour. Let's go. Oh dear, we do not want to fight weak enemies in the woods suck here. Ironically, the strong ones are actually the better choice for this area. All right, so far so good. Let's see. Let's pop into this little town. Another thing we have in this game for the first time in the Zelda series, towns. This is actually the first appearance of towns. This is Rauru. And we're coming here. We could choose to walk around and get hints from all the villagers, like this stunning thing. Return the crystal to the palace in Parapa. Parapa is the desert to the northeast, which you'd know if you had the manual. But we're not going to fool with that right now because we actually know what these guys are going to say, or I do. For example, this guy who says if all else fails, use fire, which is actually very helpful advice for later in the game. And rather than talking to every villager on this cast, I'm just going to show you a couple of things. This nice lady, and there's one of these ladies in red in every town, standing near a house, will invite you in and restore your life. Now, I'm at full life right now, but there we are. If I wasn't at full life, I'd have restored life there. There's another person in every town, an old woman, that will restore your magic. And again, I'm full of magic. But we're going to talk to this nice lady, because we know that she has something important to tell us. She says to talk to my father before I leave town. All right, well, that sounds like good advice. Go inside. She's got a pretty big house here. She's going to give me some advice here. Each town has a wise man. Learn from him. So there's a number of towns scattered around the map, and each of those towns has at least one person in it that I can learn from. This is a trick from my childhood. This game, I don't even know how to start talking about my... Here, I'm going to kneel. If you jump and land like that, you can kneel before the wise man. You don't have to. I just always did it as a kid because I thought I wanted to kneel in front of the wise man while he taught me stuff. I know that's a little weird. Anyway, there we are. Shield. This isn't an item. This is magic. So what he's done is he's given me my first of my 8 spells that I'm going to learn. It uses 32 units of magic. That's a lot, since each of one of those little blocks up there indicates 16 units. So it takes half my magic just to use the shield spell once. What's it do? Well, when I activate shield, once I have it turned on, then for the duration of any screen I'm on, I take half damage. It's an extremely useful preventative spell, and you'll get an idea of that as we play a little further along. I hope I'm not being too dull and academic with this. Let me know. Too dull and academic? Let's see. Oh, somebody loves Zelda's dog's name is like, I don't know. My shedding viewers, folks, too dull and academic. Should we just go kill something, or do you want to hear more about what's going on before we continue into the game? It's all a good rundown. Okay, good. Y'all are happy with that. All right, let's move on a little bit here then. So, lay of the land. First off, this little thing of woods here looks very suspicious. We're deliberately avoiding. There's some experience hidden in there, but I want to save that for a little later in the game. The experience system in this is odd because when I get up to 50, I don't have to level up. The game kind of tempts you. It's like, oh yeah, you could level up this one thing for 50, but another thing that might be more useful is 100, and another thing might be 200. And you're like, well, if I can make it to a little more experience, I can get the better thing, or the thing that's harder to get. Why is that important? Well, you have 3 lives, and when you're not out of lives, you'll lose all your experience points that you haven't like banked and cashed in. You keep your levels between saves, but not your XP that you're earning between levels. So it's kind of a risk-reward mechanic. Now, we can go to this little town. And we're going to go here. There's the lady that'll help me with life. Again, there's the magic lady. Oh, magic lady's here. We can show you. Okay, so shield changes my color. So if there were enemies around, see how it ate half my magic up just using that. But I'll take half damage in any fight that I might get into at this point. And since I'm right next to magic lady, I talk to her. We're not going to read all the dialogue. Pop in and whoop, magic restored. And she's always there. So any town I can always pretty much restore life and magic. Oh, this is one of the most famous things in all of video gaming. Oh my gosh, this is great. I'm so glad he's here in this town. We are in the town of Ruto, and there's this dude over here, and we're going to talk to him. He's going to say, when I was a kid, this blew my mind. I was like, what is wrong with my cartridge? There we are, ladies and gentlemen. I am error. That's right. That's the message this guy gives you. I am error. I thought my game was broken. I thought the program was wrong, and so did a lot of other people. It turns out, the story I've heard is that this guy's name is like Aaron, but it's a mistranslation from Japanese into English, and so Aaron becomes error, or Errol perhaps becomes error. I think it may be Errol. I am Errol. I am error. And so that's what happens there. There's an incredible book, by the way, that you should read by MIT Press. Called I Am Error. It's about programming for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and it is stellar. It is spectacular. It talks all about the technical details, how it works. I really recommend you read it. Okay, so this guy tells us somebody stole this town's trophy. Now, this lady tells us. So I'll bet you if I go get that trophy, she's going to give me a reward. Probably the magic spell that's in this town. I'm not going to go around and ask lots of questions because I know what these folks are going to say, and I don't want to bore you with a lot of 8-bit dialogue. But if you were playing this on your own, you would be solving mysteries. This road to the south leads to a much more difficult area. We're not even going to, we can't even access it yet because we don't have the right magic spell to get farther. So let's go find a trophy. Now, if I were a trophy, where would I be? I would be, Okay, these guys are, several important things are happening here. Look at my experience. I had 8, I have 0. Why? Because some orange enemies, particularly ones that die with one hit, will take your experience away when they hit you. Most enemies do not take your XP, but those orange jerks do. And one of those guys walked into me. Also, I can't throw swords anymore because I'm at less than full life. So by a stupid error, now you notice my shield protects me from his upper strikes until he burrows through me. If somebody tackles you, you still take the damage, but otherwise, see, I'm not taking damage until he's close. It's because my shield is blocking it. You can actually hear the sound cue of the shield block. So like I said, every enemy in the game, okay, I'm not talking about this right. We should engage this more thoroughly in a setting where you can actually tell what's happening. What I like about Zelda 2 is that every enemy in the game is designed to be confronted with that set of 7 moves I was talking about earlier. We have 5 of the 7. Enemies attack in a variety of different ways, but all of them can be defended or attacked against with some combination of that very basic skill set. Ah, look, a cave off by itself. What could be there? I think we should explore. Surely not a trophy, right? Let's see what we get here. And that's, oh, that's right, it's dark in here because look, see that little bit of movement on the floor? It indicates that we are being attacked by an enemy in the dark. We should, if we were being thorough, we would come down here with a candle that's hidden in the palace, but we're not going to do that because we want to save time. So instead, we're going to sit here, and something invisible shooting rocks at us out of its mouth. These are actually 3 Octoroks in a row in these little recesses here. You got to see them as I stab them coming up. But since I know that they're here, I'm just going to fight them in the dark. Get past them. And, oh, look, it's not a trophy, but it is a magic container. Now, I've already found one of the 4 magic containers in the game. And with that, I'll be able to cast more spells, which in the early game is not super important, but once you get the life spell in particular, it becomes extremely important, because the only way to restore life in the field outside of stumbling onto a fairy when you're lucky is to use the life spell. Questions and thoughts. We're going to pause for a second. Look at the chat here. Ooh, Zelda 2, the Dark Souls of retro games. It is really very accurately. Let's see. Bagu is the brother. Oh yeah, we'll get to Bagu. Yep. Yeah, we're gonna find Bagu in a little bit. I'm so glad you remember Bagu. Yeah. There's Bagu and Riverman and Error and all the rest. Here we go. Okay, this is a good place to get experience early on. So these are not the same. Notice this guy, he's not the chargy, cheesy dude that takes 1 hit. He's the tougher spear dude. Now, remember what I said about the game being kind of like Dark Souls? Look at that. See how that bounced off my shield? But okay, now oh wow, there's a lot happening. So many things to demonstrate. So you notice I've got more than 50 experience now. Remember I told you it was a risk-reward thing to leveling up. I have 3 lives. I could choose to up my life right now, but see, attack is a little more expensive to level up. I'm like, well, if I could just hoard my experience for a while, I could update that, and then my sword would do more damage. That'd probably help me more in the short run. So I'm going to take a risk and think that I can make it at least 150 more XP before I die 3 times. So we're just skipping that. And looky there. Every now and then you get these random drops of XP bags from enemies. That one just dropped one. There were 50 XP in it. Now I could choose to level up my magic. But no, I'm still going to hold out for attack. These guys, less important to kill than the spear guys, because they're not worth nearly as many experience. But, you know, experience is experience. So we'll take it. So there's a little bit of grinding in the early game if you want to be good at it. So somebody said Dark Souls a second ago, and I said, what's the connection? This game and Dark Souls are similar in that you have a very limited amount of moves and abilities relative to what you find in a lot of games that you go to, but that they are tools that you can use to unlock defeating just about any kind of enemy. And that's where the real similarity comes in between this and Dark Souls, is the way it's about skill structure. It's about getting really, really good with a very specific set of controls. And once you figure it out, applying that to every different enemy situation. That's what I love about this game. But another mistake people make with Zelda 2, in my opinion, is frankly, they don't do enough grinding in the early game. Now, grinding has a negative connotation. I understand that, and a lot of games I don't enjoy grinding either. But I think that in Zelda 2 it makes sense because the grinding is kind of fun. It teaches you early in the game to learn to fight, which is not as easy as I'm making it look here. Just learning the right rhythms and patterns for movement. And also, gaining a couple levels early on will really push you forward into this kind of loop where later in the game you just keep being a little bit ahead of the challenge curve, and it really makes the game much more bearable. And the grinding's not tedious, not at all in most of the game. There is this darn bat here that I can't see because I'm in the cave without a lamp, and if I jump over this hole the wrong way, he's going to knock me into it. I let him get too far away instead of getting past him. I have to make a choice whether I want to take a stupid risk or not. You know what? I'm going out the door and back in because that'll reset the bat. I know this game too well. I'm sorry about that. All right, so there you saw him for a second. Oh, no! And then I got shot off the ledge anyway. So right there, talked about dying. Oh, that's what you got. Oh, look, Jared is. Jared is Link. There we go. So, I thought I was being clever. And I lost a life uselessly. So I was just telling you, like, I'm so good at this game. No, not if I'm careless. I'm not. That's what I get for getting cocky. I've been properly chastened. Zelda II is a cruel master. Okay, here's an invisible boomerang guy here. I'm beating up. Alright, I see him. There's that trophy the lady wanted. I'm about to die, so I'm going to activate the shield spell, which I should have done when I walked in here. Just in case I get hit by that bat, like I just did. And I'm going to get out of here. Again, I could have just gone and gotten the candle, but what's the fun in that? I like getting ahead of the game. Ah! This guy's hilarious. He's just big and tall. He's like an elevator, and then you knock him down and kill him. Oh, I'm getting really lucky with the experience packs. Why do they say P on them? I assume it's points. I don't really know. We called them P bags as kids, and then we laughed because, you know, P bag. There we go. Now I have to level up one of the three, and I'm going to level up attack because attack is awesome. All right. So let's talk a little bit about this leveling up. The maximum level for your sword, your life, and your magic is 8 each. You start at 1, which means there are 7 advancements for each, for a total of 21 advancements. Now, when you finish each palace, you get an automatic advancement, 1 level up. It's just going to happen. So out of those 21, 6, because there's 6 palaces, are going to be completely taken care of just by finishing the palace, which means you're going to earn a total of 15 levels in the game through combat. So what you want to do is try to pace your games to know that by the time you finish the 6th palace, you're right there at the edge of hitting 8 on everything. There's a lady we talked to earlier who wanted a trophy. We talked to her, come over here, go into her house, and look, it's another big house where we have, once again, the old man waiting. So we're going to do here, you're going to do the kneel like I did when I was a kid. Got to kneel to him. You have to jump in the air to kneel. You jump in the air and crouch. Oh, I screwed it up. Oh! And he gives me the jump magic. Let's see. Grinding games isn't bad at all if you put a podcast in back. That's how I captured my national Pokedex. I like that, Tucker. Got to get good, says Derek. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm so good. No. All right, you guys doing okay with this? Is this too tedious yet? If it is, then we can just go kill some stuff and be a little more exciting and actually advance into the game as opposed to wandering around. Although we've acquired 2 of the 8 magic spells in the game, and we've done an important level up of our sword. But we've also grabbed 1 of the 4 magic containers, and we're getting ready to go grab the last heart container before we take on Parapa Palace, the first palace in the game. What are your thoughts, guys? Y'all are watching, ladies and gents. What's the word? We doing okay here? Said earlier I was just gonna save this. Oh wait, crap! So this place contains a pea bag, but if an enemy runs into you at the same time, you'll get there. Now we'll go here and it'll trigger the special area. So there's a bunch of freaking bats here. So what I'm going to do is go get this 50 points in the wood here. And once again, I'm going to save those because I like to do that. I like to try to clear up some of the earlier ones first. Okay, somebody's enjoying the commentary. At least one person likes it. Let's see. All right, if anybody else is bored to tears, please tell me. All right, now we're going to go level up and get the 1 heart container that's outside. Oh, stupid move on stupid monster bad thing happen. Okay, so go along here, and if you watch the floor over in this next one, you're going to see the little guy coming at me. See him? There's a little trickle there on the floor. That's him. Yeah. Man, I played too much of this game. And here we are in Parappa Desert, home of Parappa Palace. But we're not going straight to the palace. We're going to go down to the little hidden area that contains the heart container. So I'm taking you on a direct route through this. If you were there we are. Notice that he hit me on the road. If an enemy runs into you on a road, they don't attack you. There are parts of the game where luring enemies onto the road when you're on the verge of death and they're about to run you down is an important strategy for survival. We'll get to that later on. However, this road does contain some traps, including a nasty little area right here, where you will have to jump over these. If those bubbles hit you, they don't do a lot of damage, but they're almost certainly going to knock you into the water and kill you instantly. So you got to be careful. Link handles really well. He's quite agile, but he does have a tiny little bit of momentum when he lands for his jumps, and you got to learn to gauge that because he'll keep going for a second. It takes a second to slow down, which I love. All right, now this is area right down here. This is a hidden place where we would be exploring. If we were playing this properly, be discovering new caves and new areas, but I already know where everything is in this part of the game, so we're doing less of that. But this little wood, which contains a heart container there in that center square, also contains some enemies that, frankly, are a little above our level right now. So it's a great place with to grind, but also you got to be a little careful here. So the moment we walk onto this forest, somebody's going to attack us here. Yeah, there we go. So what do we run into? Aha! Well, first off, we get this jerk. Okay, now we are in a bad situation here. We gotta run. All right. Now, why did I run here? Okay, so there's a heart container here. When you get a heart container, your life fills up, which is kind of a great thing. Hey, Loki, how you doing? Let's see, funny enough, you're the only streamer I watch. Oh, I'm so sorry for that, but thank you, Tucker. All right, so to our right here, we're going to run into the Guardian of the Heart Container, which is really just a mid-tier enemy. But by grabbing the container, we can refill our life, which is very important right now. Boomerang Guy is not going to be happy about that. And there's Link, very pleased. Now we're actually going to go kill this dude. Use our shield magic here. You see that? It's turning and blocking the boomerang. Once again, every enemy, different attack patterns, but ultimately it's about blocking with the shield high and low, hitting with the sword high and low, the upward and downward thrust that we learn later. And those fundamental skills, though they vary from each enemy has to be approached a different way, carry over in everything. And that's the Dark Souls-y connection. All right, we're going to... Oh, he got me on the road. Actually wanted to fight some of these guys in the woods and get a little more XP. So we're going to hang out here. Let's see what we get. Okay, you come on down here. Kill you. You come on down here. Oh. I use shield magic because I'm about to get in trouble. Wow, that was not particularly dignified. Okay, so here we're going to show off how actual fight would work. I can block a spear low or high. So I've got to match his movements. Wait for him to come in, and there we go. And you're fighting without taking any damage. When people get on both sides of you, that you really get in trouble in this game. So you try to be a little more careful about how those encounters work. Oh, I was trying to get a fairy. I did! Alright, so occasionally fairies appear randomly on the map and allow you to do this. Also to make that cool pose when you pause in the air if you do your attack while they're up there. Alright, let's see what we get here. Okay, so more... No, I can't use... Oh, good! So you see that blue potion? I didn't have enough magic to use shield until that appeared. Now I do, so now I'm taking half damage. So once again, risk reward. Do I want to up my life? Do I want to up my magic? Or do I want to hold out for like a big giant attack? I'm going to be a fool and hold out for yet more attack, which is probably not the right way to do this, but I'm feeling fancy free. I want that level 3 attack. I want to be able to kill things with my sword quickly. And I'm trusting that for most of the game, I can avoid taking too much damage. Now we got to get over this jump. Now, even with literally years of experience playing this game, I occasionally screw this up. You guys saw the guy knocked me in the water earlier just from being a little stage frighty and also a little careless. It's so easy to get careless in this game. That's another place that's like Dark Souls or Bloodborne or Sekiro is you're like, man, I'm doing well. I don't have to be careful. And then that happens. There was no reason for me to push forward right there. See? You see what happens? Now I'm in real trouble. I got a bunch of experience. I got 1 life left. If I die here, all that stuff I held out on earlier is going to go away. If I had cashed it in for levels, I would be safe and secure right now. Because the levels you keep from your save forever, but the XP disappear. Look at that. Foolish decisions on Jared's part. But we're going on to Parappa Palace anyway. Alright, we're going to stop here for a second. I don't know if this will work, but many years ago I made a very stupid GIF of error. Oh, I can't wait to see it. Oh, the GIF isn't showing up. Some of the DMA links later movements in the 3D Zeldas. Yep, you can see it definitely. Oh yeah, you'll see his Smash Brothers downward thrust is in the game. You learn it later. It's a skill. You have to unlock it just like the spells. Downward thrust becomes your go-to attack later in the game. So this is the first of the 6 main palaces. There's also the 7th Great Palace, but you have to get the 6 crystals to open that one. So you know how that stuff works. These guys suck. They only take 1 hit to kill, and they're the most predictable enemies ever. But they're the stupid kind that take your XP when they hit you. I don't know what monster put these in this game, but they are irritating as all. So I really don't like them. We have 1 life coming into Parappa. Usually I don't lose a life for, like, a long time. So I'm already playing very, very badly, and I'm a little nervous about getting all the way through Parappa without dying now, but I think we can do it. There's a Staphos. Okay, so here's how you fight him. Run at him and just go for the legs right before he strikes at your head. That's the best way to fight Staphos. You can protect yourself from a sword high by holding your shield up like this, but I've found that just diving in and striking knocks him back. Dive in and strike knocks him back. Use that. Link has that forward momentum, and then you just kind of slide into it. And that takes Staphos out. He's a pretty easy bad guy to fight. Alright. So we're going to move on. Now, you are going to see me get tedious here in a minute, because we are going to fight. This is really the only palace where this becomes an issue. But there are these evil skeleton beach balls that we're going to come across in a second. They bounce around. These skeleton bouncy balls. And the skeleton bouncy balls, when I was a kid, I thought for a while that they were immortal. That you couldn't kill them no matter how much damage you did to them. But in reality, they can, in fact, be killed. And at this stage in the game, they're actually worth... There's a skeleton beach ball. They're actually worth a fair amount of XP. So if one lures the skeleton beach ball... Oh, crap, I got hit. One lures the skeleton beach ball all the way to the end here, where the little orange guys don't show up anymore. And one is very careful, then you can stun lock it. And then you sit here and beat on it for like 30 seconds, which is what I'm about to do, which I know is riveting streaming. But if you do this, then it's a very quick way to get a little extra XP. I could have just chosen to avoid this guy, and if I weren't tedious and a little obsessive, I would. But because I've lost so much life from my... Oh, there we are, Staphos. Remember, down, and a down, and a down. There we go. And he's dead. That's how you take down Staphos. Alright, so we could go down here, but I know that we're going to need a key to get too far. So, oh crap. I actually should have gone to... That's a pain when he gets over there. I could use a jump spell to get up above him, but... Oh, wait. So what we're going to do is just solve this problem with the power of scrolling. Hey, look. He reset. There we go. And he's dead. There we go. We're going to go back down that elevator a little. We're going to need a key to get everything that's down there. So, okay, this... You kill the little dude first. He doesn't seem dangerous, but when he hops, he will run into you, knock you into a more powerful enemy, and just cause you all kinds of trouble while you're sitting here trying to beat this beach ball of death to death. All right. How are we doing here, guys? You good with this? Or is this too grindy? If you want me to push on through the palace, I can stop beating up beach balls. Although there's one room where I have to beat up the beach balls. I don't have any choice. But we're moving on to the palace. And you can see already a pretty good variety of enemies in this game. You're going to encounter a lot of palette swap enemies eventually, but even the palette swap guys have... It's not just like they have more life or something. A lot of times they have vastly different abilities. We're going to save the ferry. We're going to come up here, and we're going to fight our way through a couple of these little jerks. Now up there, that little gargoyle, eventually, some of those in some palaces you can hit to get potions, and sometimes they come to life and attack you. It just depends. There's a key, but we're not just stopping with a key because there's something back here. That's right. Something a little farther back. Now, eventually palaces have like hidden walls, and literally like transparent walls you can walk through, and floors that drop out from beneath you, and cunning and irritating puzzles of all kinds. Ah, yes, this dude. We're mostly just coming up here to kill him. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and use our shield magic here. He is not that hard once you get under his guns, so I may have just wasted that. Oh, but he did his jumpy thing, so now I'm glad I used it. Key number 2, and hidden potion. That's a red potion. That'll refill all my magic. So that's good to have. So it's probably best I use that, actually. And you see that I speed up the beach balls because that's another 100 points I've gotten from them already, and I'm approaching that 500 threshold for my sword that I really wanted to get to. So that's nice. Good place to be. This is irritating. Trying to catch one of these dudes without running into him is irritating, and sometimes they'll bounce into a wall and bounce right at you. Let's take a look at the chat for a second. Kill away, man. Get that XP. More enemy variety than Breath of the Wild. There is a lot of enemy variety for an 8-bit game in this, and you just keep encountering this. This is eventually you run into like brontosauruses and armor, and let's see, and of course the famous Dark Nut, which I think was Dark Knight in Zelda 1. I think there's an orange Dark Nut in this palace. Typically, orange enemies are the weakest. Red are stronger and blue is strongest, but that doesn't hold uniformly across the game. For example, the blue blobs are more dangerous than the red, and if I remember right, there's these little orange dinosaurs eventually. Or which one is it? Is that the dinosaurs? There's one of the oranges that's the worst. Oh, I see. Like I said about the little blue blobs, they're just the worst. They're just terrible. I hate them. All right, let's go down here. Okay, so this is the most dangerous of the beach ball rooms. And this is the place where I actually do just slow down and kill them. Because if I don't and try to race my way through, it can be done. The hardest one's getting that first unlock on them. But by walking through here and doing this little bit of grinding in this one palace, I can up several levels and really make the rest of the game easier for myself. However, again, it is totally possible to advance in this entire game to victory without doing any of this. As a kid, I did it a lot before I knew you could kill the beach balls, and then after I got good enough at it, I did it after. Ah! Okay, here we go. I'm going to put our attack up here, and now my sword does even more damage. Yeah. Now, I want to be clear, even though I've died twice, that this combat that you're seeing it's hardly like rocket science, but it is, I say as I get killed, very precise. One little slip gets you knocked back, and it does not take long to die in this game at all. And that is one thing I want you to be really well aware of if you decide to try Zelda 2 out. It can be frustrating as you're learning the curve. The first palace really isn't bad. You know, I'm actually going to hold out on lifing up till the end of this room. I'm going to wait and magic up, I think. Because... okay, this jerk. Oh, no. This jerk. I hate him so much. All right. Now, you see I can actually control the bouncing of him by moving the edges of the screen. He bounces off the edge of the screen wherever it is at that moment. So I can scroll the screen to control the bouncing of these guys. And that's how I trap him in this lock. I move the screen to the point that I estimate he's going to bounce very close to me at medium height. Because trying to catch him when he's at floor level is almost impossible. So that's a little trick too if you're looking. And look, already back up. Okay, now we're going to magic up. And then that means the very next beach ball we kill, which is the last one in the room, is going to give us a life up. And life up includes refilling your life bar. So that's great. So now already here, very early in the game, still walking around the first palace, we're going to have level 3 sword, level 2 magic, level 2 life, 1 extra magic container, 1 extra heart container, and we're still making our way through. And that's nice. And this isn't a game where we lost 2 lives already. So I'm really actually pretty happy with our progress. This is a great place to be. Ah, yes. This is to my we got lucky. Got a look at that. Got a P here. Now there's a P bag over here on this. This is, to my knowledge, the first disintegrating bridge I ever encountered in a video game. Disintegrating platforms, obviously a staple of video games. I don't think this is the first one in a game by a long shot, but it's the first one as a kid that I ever ran into. And I love to hop on it, even though you don't need to. And there, you gotta be kind of quick to get that P bag. That's you miss that quick dive there and hit, and it's over. Because you gotta hit it. You pick up items with your sword, so it's not just like stepping on it. You have to actually. All right. Now we're gonna use some magic here. Get through this guy. Because he's not the only one we're going to face. And we're going to leave that because it's going to let us refill our magic. As a matter of fact, we're going to burn magic like water here and activate jump. There's what jump does. Lets us. Why? Because we're going to be able to refill our entire magic. These items don't disappear from the screen until you scroll off, so that'll be there when I come back. And that becomes important as we face the first Dark Nut. Well, I think it's actually called Iron Knuckle in this game. Oh, now, let's talk about these guys. They're a common enemy in the game. They come in 3 colors, orange, red, and the incredible blues. The blues have super leaping ability and shoot short swords at you like a machine gun across the screen while they're swinging. These are one of the most Dark Souls-y kind of enemies in the game. It's about a duel. It's about watching whether that cue for where they're going to strike high or strike low, which they give you a cue just before they hit. High or low, making sure your shield's in the right place or that you're backing away, and then striking likewise where their shield or sword is, and those move independently of each other. It really is fencing. And you see that I'm fencing poorly right now. There we go. And that's one of the things I just love about this game. It's that little bits like that. We're going to get this magic refill. I didn't really need to activate that jump, but I had the free potion. I wanted to show you what the jump magic could do. Jump magic's great for getting around enemies or over enemies you don't want to fight. And there's the candle, and now all the caves we go in will be lit up. Later in the game, I would check this wall to see if it was transparent or something, and I could run through it, but I can't. Other than Dark Link, oh, somebody knows Dark Link's my favorite boss in this game. Other than Dark Link, what's your favorite boss? Yeah, Dark Link's first appearance is in this game. So if we're talking about Zelda II bosses, I really like the mechanical knight that you face. You eventually fight an Iron Knuckle. Oh, come on, freaking blue jerk. You eventually fight an Iron Knuckle that comes at you on a giant, like, armored mechanical horse that's floating. And I love that boss because he just looks cool. We'll get to him later on. But it's just cool horse with a lance. Okay, so once again, grinding perhaps? Yeah. Oh, now, I'm going to be careful here, though. We don't want to face both of those at once. So again, you saw how we scrolled the screen to get him over here. Now he's going to hit the tunnel with us. Isolate him. And, yep. Yeah, combat reminds you of Nidhogg. It is kind of like Nidhogg. That's an astute observation. I never thought about that. It is a lot like Nidhogg. Really good point. But yeah, I think this game's also great music. You notice the cool palace music. It's very good loop. I'm going to go ahead and... We've already committed to grinding here. I'm going to go ahead and kill the rest of these guys and get the XP because... Why not? Well, you know, unless they kill me by me being stupid like that. See what I said about enemies on both sides? Okay, so now I'm just being dumb. Getting greedy. Also, you notice my magic's depleted a little bit? One of the things about the bouncy beach balls is they eat a little bit of your magic every time they hit you. It's actually kind of a big deal right now, so hopefully some enemies will drop some of those little blue bottles or red bottles for me, and I'll be able to refill, because I'd like to have shield magic for the... Wow, I'm getting hit a lot here. Perhaps... And this is a terrible situation to be in. So if I were wise, I would immediately back away. Yeah, I'm in danger of dying. Genuine danger of dying here and losing everything for getting greedy. You ever get greedy in a game? It's like, I know this is a terrible idea. Oh look, the beach balls came back. Okay. almost there. All right, sorry, I had to get quiet there for a second while I reaped what I'd sown. I kind of feel like this guy has a... No, he doesn't. There's another guy in somewhere in this place that has a red potion in him. But fortunately, we're not going to die. I know we're not going to die because we're going to run past these guys. The blue guy there is actually the greater threat. Go over here and get this fairy that we saved earlier. There we are. Do the awesome stabby motion so we can do the midair. Look there. Well, we did not die. All right. Whew. There are enemies that take away XP. Yeah, the orangey guy, little orangey fast guys, either with the bulldog guys with the spears or little like guys that look like jackals. Yeah, those dudes will flood. And I noticed that guy used to take 2 hits to kill. Now he only takes 1. That is the advantage of leveling up my sword so much. Is that I can kill enemies much more quickly. As a matter of fact, we're about to have a level up here in a moment. And this guy's going to die. Despite the fact he still takes a million hits, he takes a lot less than he used to. And that's that level 3 sword playing out. By the time we leave this palace, I think we're going to get out of here with probably above level 3 everything. Okay, we're going to go ahead and magic up. Alright, let's move on. Instead of going down and fighting beach balls, I think we're just going to push on through and finish the palace. Assuming we can. See, so it's great that you can knock most enemies back with a hit. That really does, that ability to just knock them back just a little bit. Staphos here is a joke on the stairs. If you can get up to that stair quick enough. Later on in the game, you meet Staphos that jump and do a downward thrust. Those guys are a pain. Alright. So now, okay, now we gotta be careful because we're gonna have a little pause when we hit the door. So this guy's all about getting underneath and then not letting him jump into you. Because he occasionally tries to jump at you like that. Ah, I got hit. I should have used shield here. Alright, do I want my life up now? If I go on past this threshold, I don't think there's 700 points down here, so yeah, we're gonna do that. Alright. Moving on. I'm doing math in my head to optimize how... See, at the end of the palace, there's a free power-up, a free level up. And so you don't want to have, if you can avoid it, you don't want to have too many XP at the moment you finish it. Oh, come on. And I suck. And I could have used shield there. And, oh, there's just so many ways I screwed this up. Because now I'm going to go fight the boss, and I've got very little life left. And I've got no way to refill my life. So, you know what? We're just going to hope. We're actually low on XP here. Here's the boss room. This boss is not especially difficult if you get the timing right. He's just a dude with a stick. Okay, so this is Horsehead, the accurately named Horsehead. And we're going to fight... Yeah, knowing is half the battle. Yeah, I really... Somebody said the oft-ignored gamer skill of not knowing when to overreach. You're right. All right, so we're going to face Horsehead here in a minute. He's not hard as long as we jump up and kind of come down on his head with the sword, not directly above, but just have it extended and come down and hit. We can knock him backward with every hit. If not, then when we land, he will knock us across the screen with that mace, and with this little life, it will not take him long to kill us. This is, I should have used shield in the last hallway, and I wasn't thinking. So let's see what happens. Oh, we still got... Oh, crap. Okay, so sometimes I use jump against him. I actually usually find that distracts me from getting him. But I activated it here. Oh, and there we go. I died in the first palace of Zelda II after telling you I'm good at the game. I am really ashamed. I have already failed you. I should not even have lost a life at this point, much less gotten my butt kicked there. So I have paid the price for hubris, definitely. I have paid the price for hubris. So on our walk back to the palace, and we're not going to take nearly as long to get through it this time because we already have all the items and we've already grinded. We're just going to run straight to Horsehead and kill him. But on our way through the palace, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my backstory with this game. So Zelda II was a game that got a lot of pre-release coverage, and then in the United States didn't appear for some time. It was elusive. Zelda II in Japan was a Famicom Disk System game and was released on that medium to some success. It was different in many ways than the American version. Frankly, in a lot of ways, it was easier than the American version. There was a huge marketing campaign behind it. It's going to be there, and it's featured in magazines. And then several factors led to the game effectively being delayed for American release. And because of that, and because the internet didn't exist, you had this sort of competing modes of information going on. One which said to you, hey, there's this amazing video game, you need to go out and buy it. And then the other where you went out and like people were like, we can't get it, we don't have it. And then there were rumors of a chip shortage, which originally was considered kind of bull, but apparently from what I've read since then, there was in fact something too, that certain chips were in shortage, and that was difficult to make enough of any kind of Nintendo cards for a while, much less Zelda 2. But eventually, Zelda 2 came along, and a neighbor of mine got it before I did. I went over to that neighbor's house after having read about this game for more than a year, that fabulous gold cartridge, and we played for hours and hours and hours. First through this section that I'm showing you right now, down to getting our butts kicked by Horsehead. And then later, and then on through the second palace, and et cetera, grinding our way using our prodigious, like, preteen video game skills to take us through amazing adventures. And I fell in love with it. There's some kind of obdurate puzzles later in the game, and some really difficult sections. What we're doing right now is actually quite easy. But there's some genuinely difficult sections to this game, and I just fell in love with the fact that when I got my butt kicked, I felt like it was mostly my fault. I should be grinding straight to Horsehead, but now I'm being seduced by the fact that there's enough XP in the palace to level up again before I get to Horsehead. And if I do that, then I can maximize my XP with the free thing at the end of the palace. So I promised you guys we're going to go straight to Horsehead. I totally lied. We're coming over here to kill this red guy. Then we're going to go downstairs and kill everybody else. We're not going to fight the beach balls, though, I don't think. We're totally going over here to kill this guy. Yeah, I can't resist. I'm sorry. I failed all of you. See, this is the third game I got from NES after Mario Duck Hunt and Mega Man 2. Man, that's a great introduction to freaking NES gaming. Oh, I ran into that guy and lost a little XP. That sucked. Yeah, I think the person who had the best cartridge, who said that? That was Beat Krantz. I think the person that has the best story like that is Tim Geddes, whose first ever video game cartridge was Mario 1, 2, 3 plus All-Stars for SNES. Like, that's the one that has Lost Levels, Mario 1, 2, 3, and Mario World on it. Like the pack-in version of All-Stars that also had Mario World. That's the greatest cartridge ever made. It is the greatest video game cartridge of all time. And that was Tim Geddes' first video game. I mean, talk about being spoiled. I guess it would probably set your expectations pretty high, right? And it's like video games must be the most wonderful thing in the whole wide universe. Oh, there he is. Why do you have a picture of Tim Geddes ready for the fact that you're able to... The internet is fundamentally broken. It's ruined everything. No one should be able to just summon Tim Geddes at any time they want him. Nobody needs that. Oh, that's hilarious. I keep forgetting that he can do that. All right. So I said I was not gonna fight the beach balls, but I'm doing the math in my head, and if I kill just one beach ball, we get downstairs and kill Horsehead and do the math. It's bad that I know the level math, like the level up math for this game, isn't that? Oh my goodness. Let's see. What about that's the one I'm talking about? All Stars Mario World. That's the one. Yeah. That's the one I was, yeah, Mario All-Stars post Mario World. That's the Mario 1, 2, 3, and did I say something else? I might have said something else. I'm not sure. Ah, okay, let's see. So we now have enough experience that we can go downstairs, level up, and then immediately level up again, so which is what we want to do. I like to get out of the palace with 444, but we're going to get out with 344, and that's fine. That's just fine. Again, we're being a little obsessive as it is in an effort to make later parts of the game easier. None of this is necessary. It's just the way I like to play, because having played through it enough times, I've become kind of obsessive about it. You know, we may not have needed that. Well, I wanted to leave a buffer in case we got a red potion. Actually, probably didn't need to kill that beach ball. Okay, we're definitely using shield this time. I was being safe. That was a good choice. Killing the beach ball was a good choice. Because if one of these guys gives us a red, we can still get screwed. No, I totally didn't need to kill that guy. Oh well. Because Horsehead's going to give us a little bit of experience when he dies. But it's okay. And we get to fill up our life right before we walk in the room, and that wouldn't have happened. So, alright. Using shield. Jump, I find, just throws me... Now, notice this. My magic is leveled up to 3. See, my spells are cheaper than they used to be? Shield used to cost 32. Jump used to cost 40. The price has gone down. That's what the magic level going up does. It makes the spells cheaper. And eventually, a lot of the spells are almost negligible to use, and you're practically using shield all the time, which is great because it's almost like having the blue ring. Now, you notice my shot did nothing to him. Okay. So maybe I'm doing this wrong? This is not a hard fight. What is wrong with me? I've killed this guy without taking a hit. So many... Okay. Alright. Y'all are on to me. I've never played Zelda 2. Know nothing about it. I'm getting my butt kicked by a horse in a red suit of armor. He's not even hard! What was... Okay. I'm disgraced. I played this last night. Killed him without taking... Oh, that was last night. It was a couple nights ago. Alright, we're going to use jump after all. Fine. That's probably what I'm doing. No, that didn't make any difference either. It does make it... Yeah. Okay, fine. Do it that way. Well, so that's maybe a downward thrust, this guy just dies. See, that's what you have to do to avoid taking the hit, is what I'm doing right there. This is kind of perfect place. You just sort of hit him or scrape him across the face. There we go. Now we got it down. Alright, that was easy. Well, I want to apologize to everyone for being full of it. And we got a little bit of XP there, but it didn't matter because we're going to level up instantly right here because our XP is going to fly up to reward us. Alright. Yeah, the jump spell does help, but I used to be able to get him without it. Oh my goodness. Well, there we go. And of course, taking the free level up. And that, friends, is Parapa Palace, the first palace from Zelda II, The Adventure of Link. And now you can't get back into the palace anymore. It's locked up forever. That doesn't happen, by the way, until you get all the items you need. So it's not possible to like lock yourself into an unwinnable state or anything like that. Yeah, so we're all leveled up. We're going to go back to the cave. It's all lit up now again because we have the candle. And now that we've done this, we're going to head south. Head down into that little path that we decided not to go down before. When I say south, not south on this road, but along this way to the one direction we haven't been yet. Oh, got a little... Apparently some sort of alert just happened on my computer, causing an audio cue. I hope y'all didn't hear that. Have you ever played either Fasanadu or Battle of Olympus, says Bearcons. Yes, I have played them both. I love them both, particularly Battle of Olympus, which I adore. And it's also a lot like The Legend of Zelda. Jeremy Parrish wrote a really good article about Battle of Olympus is one of the few video games I've ever heard of that was created by a husband-wife team, which I just think is really cool. But it's a darn good game. Great music, too, in parts. Like the whole down, 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 down. It's great. I know you guys love to be serenaded. So, okay, red boomerang guy, a little tougher, but as long as I quick, I can deflect his boomerangs. Let me cough for a second. Sorry about that. Kill the evil vacuum cleaner monster. Well, did I take a hit from him? Really? Tell you what, this streaming stuff, it's a little harder. I'm not a natural streamer by any stretch of the imagination. I have kind of performance anxiety when I play video games as it is. There we go. Let that go under my feet there. Move on. I want to do something really cool and like show off the skills that I believe I have, but I haven't been playing lately. I'm sure many of you playing that have played Zelda 2 before could... Oh, look! This guy turns into Satan, but he's dead now. Okay, so this wall I could not pass if I didn't have jump magic. And that's kind of a sort of a Metroid-y barrier to the next part of the game. And now we pop up down here, and one of the first things we do is go to the suspicious little grove, refill our life, and then stay out of the swamp as much as we can because it absolutely sucks. Instead, we're going to fight these giant bouncy ticks, which are actually much easier since we have sword level 3. When we have a 2 on our attack power, those guys suck because they take 2 hits and they bounce quicker than we get away. Okay, the swamp sucks. Oh, I'm out. Good. I got a little bit of a cough again. Now we might as well go over here, down to this little grove, and go into these woods where I know there's a secret ring. So there's a bridge we're going to want to go through eventually down here. Well, actually, let's explore a little. Let's show the area. So we're now farther south than we were before. We come over here. There's a big boulder in the way. You see a graveyard down there. And up here, we're up toward this road leads back up to the palace. That's a little town we were at before. But we can't get up there without a hammer to break this boulder. Likewise, we can't get into some of these caves without boulder breaking items. Notice what I said about hitting on the road to avoid attack. I'm going to run over to this cave really quick because this cave just exists to give XP. We're going to go get some. Explore this really quickly. And then we're going to go get what Riverman needs. Eventually we're going to find our man Bagu. Gotta find Bagu. Alright, come on. Come on, you jerk. Oh wait, I needed that blue potion. Why don't I just run off and leave it? There we go. Alright, popping over here, popping over here, popping over here. Take a look at the chat here. Let's see, that sucks. I'm out walking my dogs. Yeah, Battle of Olympus is pretty great. Late night work at the Central Time Zone, says Game of Day. Yeah, oh man. How are you? Oh, the Central Time Zone. That's not a real time zone. That's not real. I talk about that kind of funny all the time. There we go. Got some XP there. Popping over here. And y'all, I think my voice is honestly getting kind of weak right now. I get scratchy and cracking a little bit. Not sure what's up with that. Sorry about that. So we could go over that way and explore, but we're not going to fool with that yet. We're going to fight the Boomerang Brothers here. As a kid, I always thought of it when you got caught between these two guys. They were the Boomerang Brothers. Because, I don't know. I was a moron. Kind of like Boomerang Brothers. Yeah, we don't want to go down there yet. We'll handle that later. Right now, we're going to come back down around this way. And we're going to go visit a dude in the woods. Because what you want to do is visit weird people in the woods. So, there's hidden dude over here. Now, old video games, I need to explain some context for those of you that weren't around for this. Once upon a time, there was no internet. And in that period of time, people figured out that a great way to add value to video games was to make certain secrets really hard to find. Why, you may ask? Well, because then you could run out and buy the strategy guides that they licensed to play those games. Or you could talk with your friends on the playground about how to find things, and they would go buy the game too, or your jealous friends would get it. There were a lot of reasons to do it. Also, cheats and secrets in games often brought people its attention back to them, as months after a game's release, a strategy guide or magazine article might reveal a new secret. And so something like just a random area in the woods that you have to explore to find Bagoo. Hello, Bagoo. We got to show the note to Riverman. Who is Riverman? Well, had we not known Bagoo was in the woods, we probably already would have met Riverman, because he lives down at the bridge, or past the bridge, in a little town south of here. Ah, yes. I hate the ticks. Bouncy, bouncy ticks. Anyway, there's Bagoo. Bilbo Bagoo. Oh, we may die. Oh my gosh! Here we go! We didn't die! I'm not sure how we didn't die. Now, this is very bad. Okay, come on. No fairy. Crap. Because this bridge is guarded and haunted by horrible things. I'm just going to stick my nose out here and hope for a fairy for a minute. But if somebody appears right next to me, I'm just going to die in it. No, it's just a lot of monsters. Fairy, 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 fairy. Nope. No fairy. I could try to hit one of those guys on the bridge. It's really hard to do, to skip the danger. Nope, didn't work. Alright. So now we have to make it across this terrible, terrible bridge without dying. Wow, there's a lot of Bagoo going on right there. Yeah. It's true. It is fun to play through this game, beat Kron's the second time through. Yeah, and it's wasted bandless dude Bagoo. Oh, there we go. All right, let's cut down through this. So I am on the teetering. Oh, yeah. I was just like, I'm going to show. No, I just die instantly. All right. So here's the right way to do this. Don't stop the fight. Just block the rocks. This is what I should have had the confidence to do before. Look at that. That's how you do it. And then had I done that, I would still be alive instead of dead and stupid. Hey, look. More XP. I like XP. I have a little. I'd like to have more. Even stupid ticks. That's right. That's what you get. That's what you get, tick. We're about to encounter our first town full of evil people. Alright, so we head down here. Some towns in the game have, this is the water town of Saria. So, some of the towns in the game have followers of Ganon living in them. And this is one of those. For example, this guy's going to tell us about it. Eyes of Ganon are everywhere. Be careful. So he's warning us that there are Ganon's followers here. Sorry, I know nothing. That's the story of my. That's going to be my autobiography. Sorry, I know nothing. Oh look, follower of Ganon. Town's not as safe as you thought. That's right. Look at that. So we are not going to fool with that. Let's see. This lady lost her mirror. Now this puzzle, which is not really a puzzle, but more of just a silly, silly thing, stumped my friend Sam Claiborne for a long time. He complained about this when he played through this game, which he generally enjoys. But if we'd been doing more town exploring, you would pretty much quickly discover that there's no purpose for a completely empty house. That this would be like the first just empty building you'd encountered in the whole game that didn't either have a dude living in the basement or a person with some kind of note. So as a kid, I actually did figure this one out without looking it up. Come over here, press the button. I found a mirror under the table. But that's obtuse, and there's several modes in this game like that, which is one of the things that make people critical, justifiably critical of it. There's just some obtuse stuff in here. This nice lady is about to give us the greatest gift of all. The most important spell in the entire game, the life spell. So here's an empty room, but the big empty rooms like this always lead to chambers where there's somebody waiting to teach us something. And now we can, oh wait, we're going to do our kneel. Ready for the kneel, and yeah, there we go, landed it. Locked into the animation. All right. Let's see. Come here. Somebody said dumb frogs. All right, so we go here, and there's life. The life spell. This is the only way outside of fairies or leveling up or going to a town to gain life, and it becomes vital. It's super expensive now, but actually with more magic levels, it's going to drop, and it becomes the chief use of magic for much of the game. Magic sort of becomes a life reserve along with shield. It's a really important part of the game, and you effectively just keep this selected now. You activate spells with the select button on the controller, and that's just there ready for use. So when we wander on, there's the room. I could be talking to people and learning things, and I think this lady might turn into something, I don't remember. In Medoro Swamp, find a handy glove. Alright, now she's telling me an actual useful thing, because in the swamp, not too far away, there's an item that I'm going to want to get. Stop and rest here. I can give you magic, thank you. And this is another, just a fun little thing they put in. Any town that has followers of Ganon that townspeople can turn into an attack, like that bat lady did earlier, there's always a monster asleep or hanging out. I like that. I don't know if there's a technical reason for that, or if that's just a cute little thing they put in, but I like it. I like the town music in this game. Hey, look, Riverman. What's up, Riverman? You know Bagu? Then I can help you cross. Thanks, Bag. All right, thanks, man. Let's see. Such craziness is hide such a powerful and critical spell behind that puzzle. Indeed. Yeah, old games are weird. Here's the drawbridge. Now, why is this pathway important? Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is the path to the hammer. And this is where Zelda 2 starts to get real. Up till now, it's been training wheels. It's been kiddie time. But now, it's time to play some friggin' Zelda 2. Entering this path with one life is an idiotic decision. So, of course, I am fully committed. Welcome to the labyrinth that leads to the hammer. Now, fortunately, I know the way through this. If you don't know the way through it, it's actually pretty easy. Always, when you have the option, choose paths that lead right or down. Right or down will take you through. Somehow, my very first time playing this as a kid, lucked into that discovery. And thus I have never been as lost in these caves as many other players that I've met have been. Nonetheless, even knowing exactly where you're going, this section of the game is the first legitimately, completely, absolutely totally difficult part of Zelda 2. And we are going to have to deal with it. As you can see, it's fairly extensive. It's a big game. I like, though, that nothing feels randomly placed. These levels are all very thoughtful. Okay. Now I have a very, very, very important decision to make. I really think I can get at least 200 more experience because I want up my sword to 4 if I can. I have a habit when I play on my own of always trying to prioritize the sword until I'm forced to choose something else. Now, I am taking a risk, though, because there are places here where I could just freaking die. So, we're, getting that greedy again, but I want that sword. I want that attack power. I tend to play pretty aggressively, and the sword rewards that, he says, as he walks into a bat. Oh, nah. Oh, yes. Okay, so you saw I just leveled up my magic. We are finally to this beautiful stage in the game. This beautiful game is, yeah, insightful analysis. Old games are weird. That's funny. Shield magic is now 16. That's one bar. That means any blue potion restores a shield. So effectively, you can start using shield almost every screen you're going to be having a fight in, unless you're having to do life, because you're going to have the opportunity to refill it. And let me tell you what, preventative medicine is wonderful. The life spell is expensive. Shield is not, magic-wise. And you take half damage from every hit. So preventing... Oh, yes, Axe Gator! Meet level 1 Axe Gator, who's a pain. Why? Because his axe comes in over my shield. Which means the only way to fight Axe Gator is to hit him in the face, and try to stay just out of reach of his choppy axe. Oh, I hate Axe Gator. He's such a jerk. Okay, again, paths to the right and down. Oh, yes, this. Once again, try to avoid fighting. Duck and cover to block the rocks. These are not fireballs they're shooting. They're rock-style attacks. They're going to be blocked by the regular shield. Fireballs can't, but we'll get to that later in the game. This place sucks. I hate this area. But there's a potion up there, and we're going to be glad of it. This is Throwy Axe Guy. Throwy Axe Guy sucks because my shield does not block his axes without the shield spell. And he is smart enough to back up when I get close, and I don't have downward thrust yet to kill him. So the best solution to Throwy Axe Guy is to avoid him. We're going to pull another little trick here. We've taken some damage and we want to get some life. If we grab this and then hit the life spell immediately after, it'll use less magic points than normal. Yeah, so there we saved a little bit of MP that way. If I'd hit it sooner, it would have been even more. So Throwy Axe Guy can wreck us if he's in the mood to. We do not want to fool with him. We want those sweet XP he's worth, but not enough to go down there and ruin our chance of getting through this course, which I don't think we have much of a chance anyway. Blue Boomerang Guy! Okay. Oh, come on. Really, Blue Boomerang Guy? This bat sucks. I suck. Okay. Oh, sure. Okay, actually, that's kind of good. Oh, we're just like inches away from having enough MP. Okay. Alright, so now we're doing it again. Now, that's what I wanted to do before. Alright, there we go. Sorry, I'm not very chatty right now. I hope I'm not boring you guys. I got thoughtful for a second. Hey, am I talking too much? Let's see. Let's see. Boomerang Guy. You can call him Bloomerang. Oh, Beat Crunch says you can call him Bloomerang. Oh, that's boo. Boo. Oh, okay. Axe. Oh, come on, Axe Guy. Just die. Okay, we are definitely leveling up because I don't think we're going to make it through these caves. But that's okay. We got some good grind in. We're going to be extremely fortunate to survive this. You really should just go in here with 3 lives. That's what it takes to reliably get the hammer. We're going in with 1. And wounded. And yet we're getting remarkably close for all that. Oh yeah, these guys. Why these dudes are on these stairs, these are the weakest enemies in the game. I don't know. They're like the blue guys, but they don't jump, they just roll around. Tempted to use shield here, but I want to save magic so badly. Totally should have used shield there. Still not too late. Jerk. Now, you see my sword's up to 4. That guy only took 3 hits to kill him. I mean, we've gotten serious. If you time it right, you can do this without getting hit. There we go. Okay, red guy. I love how he just, he's just like, ooh, a pea bag, nice. Pea bag. So far, so good. All right, I have the moments. I have the momentum. Yeah, that was a beautiful moment. Nope, all is good, he says. All right, you guys seem pretty invested still. If you're watching Zelda II this late, I appreciate it. Oh, crap. That was a terrible mistake. That might have been the end of it, because there is a gauntlet of pain at the end of this that I need to be saved up for to survive, and I'm not going to... Oh! Now I'm losing my composure. Wow, you're getting my inner monologue of doubt here, y'all. Man. Oh, really? Oh, it's always the blue guy! Always. He is likened to the devil. Okay, so hammer's down there. But surviving this in our current state, extremely unlikely. The problem is this mofo, who is very difficult to lure over here. Then you activate jump. Then you take the hit. Then you slide through here, and then you hope not to get trapped like I'm about to. Okay, come on. And we have 1 life left. Here are some ticks. The one time I don't want to get a pea bag. Okay, die. I wanted to. I need. Oh, crap. Oh, screw you. Okay, wait a minute. That was fortuitous. Alright, wait a minute. Okay, the problem is we gotta face Red Gator here in a minute. Okay, come on. Vacuum cleaner, guys. Alright, I believe I have to go down. I think this ends on a dead end here. I do not remember. Alright, let's see. Have I played the Japanese version of this? Yes, I have. Hey, thank you, Free Diddy. I appreciate that. That's a kind thing to say. I think it's downstairs. I think I'm going the wrong way. Yeah, I think we go down and to the right. Paths down and to the right. That's it. Always in the option, down and to the right. Oh, crap. Come on. I do not need your crap, Gator Man. Oh, yeah, this is the right way. Alright. Let's see. The little spiky guys are going to be ahead, and we can't even kill them. Yeah, we don't have downward thrust, so we can't kill him. We can only avoid him. Alright, we'll have to learn that maneuver. Sorry, I'm just so close to dying, but also so close to pulling this off. I think the next screen's the one I'm going to die on. I need, like I said earlier, I need 1 more life than I have. And I'm going to hit the red guy here now and die. This is the last Guardian. But I don't have enough magic to jump over him left. Oh, it was so close. Oh, and I have failed in my quest to grab the hammer. If I'd had enough magic left to jump over him, could have grabbed the hammer and then died. Just nothing left. Well, friends, that was painful. But thanks for hanging out. Yeah, that one was an overreach on my part. But we did get the level up, and we'll make the attempt at the hammer next time. Thank you so much for watching. I think it's probably time for me to turn in. So I'm going to faithfully save here. If you want to play Zelda 2, one of the advantages of it is it's one of the most accessible of the classic NES games. It's available on the NES Mini. But you can also play it on the Switch if you have the online service. It's one of the games available there now, and I do recommend it. It's a fun game. We're going to play all the way through this. We have 5 Jewel Palaces to go, plus the Great Palace. Got a couple of maneuvers to learn, many more magic spells to uncover, tons of enemies to find, bosses to fight, an entire new continent to visit. We have not yet even begun to meet the annoying eyeball monsters. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for coming in. So yeah, we'll do another one of these soon, and I'll also produce this as VOD if you want to watch it more. Thank you. If you care about what I do have a Patreon at patreon.com/JaredPetty. That's patreon.com/JaredPetty, and I do some stuff over there. So if you like things I make, please drop by, or don't. It doesn't matter. I really appreciate you just watching and being part of this. So thanks a lot, friends. Thanks to Wasted Bandwidth, Merrick, to Flickkunst, to Marilyn, to Beat Crons, to a lot of you that have been here tonight. And if I didn't say your name right there, please forgive me. All right, good night, guys and gals. I will see you again soon. Bye bye.